how do you handle the volunteers that require follow-ups, and how do you handle churn, because that happens especially in the early days a lot, right? Once you don't have, let's say, that big of a brand, and you would want volunteers on one hand, but on the other hand, you don't want those rotten tomatoes, right? So
That
how
you
do you
all
handle
had a
that?
plan from day one. Come on,
Yeah, in
super
fact,
famous.
Well,
yeah.
for whatever reason, having applications for volunteers wasn't a problem at all. Matlab, we actually have this
Yeah.
good problem. Like one small sort of anecdote is that once when we actually wanted to formally kick off this AJVC Fellows program, that's when we had a general tweet and a LinkedIn post. उससे we got so many applications, and we got it from Sudan से भी आ गए थे, Sudan, Tanzania, वहाँ से भी we got applications. US, Europe तो छोड़ दो, तो अलग level पर. So we literally got bombarded with applications in our inbox. We said that भाई माफ कर दो, आगे से तो हम कभी we are never going to go ahead and seek out applications going forward. So yeah, that problem of branding was never there. However, to your question that how do we handle churn, there are three main buckets which lead to people getting disengaged over time. One, the amount of time commitment which they thought they would be able to give, and the actual demand when they join, that doesn't match. They end up realizing that, hey, you know what, I thought maybe 1 hour a week would have been enough. Now it seems like 5 hours is the bare minimum need. The next bucket is that, talking about the social capital, everybody who comes in, they have some expectation that, let's say, in 6 months time or a year's time, we're gonna be the next several nuggets of the world. But वैसे होता नहीं. That's it. It's compounding. You just don't become somebody else with that. In that such a small time, many people never become one. The third thing is, we have lately noticed that a lot of people come in just to add it as a resume pointer, city, place, fans, and carry the brand with you when you go to talk to an interviewer. Now there are solutions for the first bucket. So the first bucket of problem where time commitment could be an issue is solvable. And if somebody is doing an absolute fantastic job, for example, now what happens with sector words or startup concepts, or let's say startup chronicles, the volunteer who had started this essentially realized that she is spending a way lot more time in actually recording that video, editing that video, and she actually was picking up things as she was going. 2 or 3 episodes in, she said that, you know what, it's taking a lot of time. I want to pass. And we realized that since she has picked this up, she has done a fantastic job for the first 3 episodes. Why don't we help her with a few more hands on deck and get her to continue what she's doing, which is a win-win for both the parties. On one hand, we get to have more volunteers with us, and on the other hand, she's also continuing what she genuinely loves to do. The other two problems that we're gonna be famous and become like Anderson Horowitz in the next 6 months, and the fact that we just want a resume pointer, these two problems can't be solved. So that's why we always try and nip out all such categories the moment we get applications and when we take them through the 4 to 6 month long journey. However, there are obviously priorities change over time, and as I mentioned that you come up with expectations, it works out, sometimes it doesn't. So yeah.
Sure. Just to comment back to Suhas on this, because you said that these guys didn't have a branding problem, but I want to go back to your early days when TPF was not that big a brand. How did you handle these situations?
Like flipping the bit, I think I feel many communities should start that way, and probably we didn't do it. I mean, we were very, very like ki karna hai, like that was the way we wanted to go. But I feel like now in the hindsight, I think it's a great playbook. If I were to like share this with someone, build some amount of audience before jumping into community is very, very difficult to kickstart communities that way, and takes much longer. Bharti asked a question, if I want to volunteer all three, how do you do that? Bharti, I highly suggest not to do that. Pick one to start with. It's very, very endeavoring outside of your full time, or if you're a student that. But Nupun, yeah, back to you. I think initial days was pretty hard for us. Like if you think, like we used to compare ourselves maybe to like a GDG back then. Like that was probably one of the close things we used to get, right? So I think for companies like Google and Facebook who have such great brands, or and things get easier over time. Like Head Start, for example, was pretty old even by the time we started, right? So when you're well known, I think things change. But initially when you're trying to build, everyone's like, okay, what is TPF, right? And you tell someone, hey, kya ye product, take it. And there was another community, and fun story, right? There was another community called Product or a page or a domain called Product Folks already. We were like, nahi, ye naam chahiye. So we just added the in front of that and we launched. So aata hi nahi tha. Social like that used to not come up on top. You'll search Product Folks, you won't search the Product Folks. Today it's different. Right, even if you search product for the product folks might come up. Back then it was different. So even like I think some amount of luck for sure that was able to get some very interesting folks to join those early days. And we were having city chapters, like they were leading. I'd say, will I be able to do that again? Do I have like a playbook? Maybe not. If I can find the same set of people, I can replicate it. That I can tell you for sure, right? If you can find the similar sets, I think there is a lot more importance I'd put to like finding interesting folks in the journey. They don't have to know everything for sure, but just that fire in the belly, right? Like they have some amount of, okay, let's do it. Like I think that is one. And second thing, I think huge plus if you can have some amount of audience. I think community building is a different, like building an audience, building a community are two different things, both important. But one can be layered over the other, right? Things become a lot easier if you say, hey, I just want to run a community. I'm not I don't want to put on social. Fair enough, you can do that, but things become easier, right? If you do have some amount of awareness in the market where people know you, things become a lot easier. So for us, initially it was definitely hard to get people.
But would you in those days, of course, you would find certain cases like this. What would you do? Let's say you put in a lot of time to find someone, and they've been good, but now they are little slow in responding. What would you do in those? You let go.
I think for us it's very, very simple. Like it's completely fine. Even if you're doing 3 months, 3 weeks, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years later, you're like, oh, hey, this is not working. You're like, that, and priorities change, right? 2 years later, you might get married, things change. Like you won't even know. You can't predict these kind of things. So for us, it is just about letting go. And it has happened to us, right? 2 years back, I would have said, okay, dude, let it go. We'll see what happens. It has happened that, okay, dude, people are coming back, right? Someone got married, 2 people. In fact, it's been very, very interesting. I told you about the USA example. There have been people who have now, okay, like, at that period of time, they got busy.
Sure.
Work would have increased, or personal life, something would have happened. Something, hardships would have come in the family. So 3-6 months let go. Then you get a message saying, okay, dude, like, is there anything I can pick up, right? And this person has done good stuff in the past, or that is something we are still very, very open to. For us, it's never been like but it is important to let go of it also. It's not like, okay, that person's busy, you keep pushing that person, okay, dude, like you had told you'll do this, it's fine, right? You'll figure out a process as it goes. Initially it's hard. I'm not discounting the fact that this is challenging. It is not easy, but at the same time, I feel like once like get through that first 6, 8, 10 month period, right? It is important for you, just like any podcaster, for example, right? Or when AJVC, when Avira started writing, like on day one, he wouldn't have had. He had a core audience, which translated to a new audience, which now funneled down to a great, like curated community, right? Understand that it is not over 6 months they have built out a community that is so engaging. It is like understand that, like they say this iceberg example, right? Where you see only the tip, right? Head Start, what it's doing today, if you tell someone, okay, dude, I want to build a startup community, tomorrow can I build a Head Start? You can't, right? They've done it for 14 long years. Are you willing to put 14 years? That's the question you should ask, right? Are you willing to put 14 years? If not, are you at least willing to put the first 14 months, right? Of course, they had the challenge. The social has improved so many. So you can accelerate this process. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you can't do it in like what they've done over 14 years, the relationship, the brand, the community, the effort, the number of hours they put in. You can't say that, okay, I'll do it in 14 days, or I'll put in 14 weeks. You can do it over 14 months. And in that also, you'll achieve some part of it. There are many moving parts to this, right? So have patience, right? End of the day, that's what I'd say. There is no other alternative to having, like, it is not a brand marketing campaign. It is not a D2C performance marketing campaign where you can throw money on social and you can buy followers, or you can, get 100,000 members in your community. That's not going to work, right? If you are a D2C brand, sell it that way. Like, figure out which game you're playing. In the community game, it is going to take you some time, but you'll have long-term rewards on this. And I think explore Web3 because then there are some incentives aligned, right? These are $1 million treasuries, right? Imagine if a WhatsApp group, FWB started as a Telegram group, right? It has a 45 million. I don't know, today's treasury might be down given market is down. At some point of time, it has $50 million treasury. Dude, like half of us would have retired with that much tokens if you had, right? And just done this full time. And none of us are doing this full time. But at that point of time, or none of us are planning to do it as well, right? We have other ambition. We started with different ethos, but tomorrow if someone's giving you $350 million, would you do it? Things might change. I mean, today, like if I ask other panelists on this, it is a huge sum of money and it is something we're all passionate about. It's just that till today, there wasn't an easy way to like align these two, right? I would love for my volunteers to like become wealthy for the effort they're putting and return. Why not? Right? If there is an opportunity, why not? They're creating value, right? If startups can create value and have $14 billion valuation, why not? Right? This is okay. Maybe it's a way you portray it. It's a ethos you came together with. But as a byproduct of it, if they are able to grow in their careers, grow in their lives, why not? Right? That is at least where I'm at today. And till probably we execute that. Till then, I probably don't want to say anything. But like I think we are there's a potential here, and it will come down to the execution. So input is in our hands. Right? We'll do our best that way. Maybe we don't become, that big, but there is an opportunity and we definitely love to try.
Yeah, I think I could not, stop myself. It was really difficult for me to stop as well. It was so wonderful. It was really, really insightful. And I hope that I'll get you guys again in one of the other sessions in future. Especially Suhas, we'll get you for one of the Web3 sessions. By then, you'll always also have caught up a lot more than what you are today. So
hopefully, touch wood.
So Nipun, thank you so much for whatever you're doing, right? Because a lot of times communities are always in their own world, right? Or communities have always been under the hood, right? Thanks for building community hood there.
Thank you so much, Suhas, Gautam, Raj.
Likewise. Absolutely, no. Thanks.
Really appreciate.
Thank you likewise, Nipun. Thanks so much. Just echoing what Gautam said. Thank you so much for hosting us, and pretty excited about the stuff that y'all are building. Gautam, Raj, was lovely even chatting with you.
Absolutely,
excited.
Pleasure, Suhas.
Likewise.
Awesome. All right, guys.
See you, folks.
Thank you so much.